The Detroit Pistons move back in the first round, get Jalen Duren from Memphis, just an athletic freak, 7 feet tall, well, 6'11, 7'5 wingspan, and this is how they got him. Chris, why don't you give me the quick details on what this trade looked like to get the Pistons back in the lottery? What do we give up? What are we thinking?
Yeah, we struggled with this because it's like, what did we give up? What did we give up?
Yeah, we didn't know forever. It seemed like forever as we were live. It
Yeah,
was just like, what are we doing? What did the Pistons do? Did we have to take on a bad contract? What's going on?
yeah. What is that bad contract? So we take on Kemba Walker's contract, which we'll
$9
get to a
million.
second. Not even that bad. That's the bad contract. And we
Yep.
get Jalen Duren, and then we trade away and get rid of that 2025 first round pick that we just got for Jerami Grant, right?
Yeah.
That was just kind of like, what are we doing? I don't like this. That seems so far away. But we that's all we give up. And
Yeah.
it's like, dude, this is crazy. And we're still kind of like working through this, but this is a great 3-team trade that we get Jalen Duren,
Yeah.
and we don't give up much. That's the whole thing. And that's why we're so excited. And I don't know, Craig, is that why kind of you're so excited? It's like, not only do we get Jalen Duren, but it's like, I just love we didn't give up much.
I love that this felt like, and I was just saying in our live feed that the one knock that I would have on Troy Weaver is that it seems like with trades, it seems like it's either 50-50 or we're kind of on the lower end of it. This trade is not that is not the case at all. In fact, when we heard that we were giving up a 2025 first round pick, I'm thinking to myself, okay, what else? Like, because why in the world would anybody take a 2025 first round pick for the number 11 pick? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And it's Milwaukee's pick. So it's probably not even going to be a great pick if we're being honest. Right. And it's 3 years away. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, no, there's no way. But the Knicks are doing what the Knicks always do. They're shedding salary because they're going to go after the biggest names in free agency. They're going to throw a bag of money at them, and they're never going to come play for the Knicks because the Knicks suck. So, like, this is exactly what the Knicks always do. And Troy Weaver's like, I will take advantage of that. Thank you very much. $9 million. That's not a lot to take. I thought for a fact we were going to have to take the $30 million Gordon Hayward trade. And guess what? It's not. It's $9 million with Kemba Walker. We're going to buy out the contract. That's the rumor already. And it was an expiring contract. We have so much money. We don't even need to. So this is fantastic. We trade Jerami Grant. We get back Jalen Duren and free up $20 million in cap space from Jerami Grant. And now, what are you thinking about the pick, Jalen Duren? How do you like this guy?
Well, you and I and everybody in the live room as well were like,
yeah,
hey, what are we gonna do after we got Ivy? Great, we're done with the draft basically, and we're looking at how do we get our front court? What are we gonna do? Is it Ayton? How do we do this? And then all of a sudden we get this guy, this 7'5" wingspan, athletic, raw, 18. And right, that's when I didn't know that. I didn't know how old he was, but just the 18-year-old part of it, the young core, just everything happened so fast for us. That's like, wait, we just checked off so many boxes. Young core, athletic, fits with Cade, front court. We need that lob threat, defense, all the things that we needed. We just got in about a 1 hour stretch that we get Ivy and then him. And then it just was so awesome. And I think the big part of it, you just said it, was we didn't give up what we needed because we were able to take advantage of a and that's just what happens in basketball. You've got these franchises that are just making goofy moves that it's like, I get what you're trying to do and whatever, go for it. In the meantime, we're going to take advantage of you and absolutely steal a player. And it's just the whole thing. I think it's not just the player. It's not just it's the whole thing that just kind of came together in about 30 minutes. That was like, what?
Yeah,
this is great. That's where I'm at with the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a weird trade, right? Because the Knicks picked 11, they picked Dieng, and then the Hornets are like, "Yeah, we'll gladly take the 11th pick. We'll give you our 13th," but then they give us the 13th. I don't know if I don't remember a trade being like this. This is very unique, and where it's a 3-team trade where like the pick moves backward. But here's the thing about Jalen Duren that I am just absolutely amazed with the fit. So we found, and I think I've talked about this in other videos, we found with Bagley last year that Cade Cunningham pairs really, really well with a vertical lob threat.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you get with Jalen Duren is a guy who can jump. He has a ridiculous wingspan along with good height. He is going to be a great vertical lob threat. So that check mark, good. The second check mark that we get from him, there's two types of floor spacers, right? Vertical floor spacer and then just a floor spacer. Jalen Duren absolutely covers the vertical floor spacer side of it. No, he's not a three-point shooter. He's not going to be probably. I mean, he's only 18, so you never know. But like, I don't know. He's not going to be. And so while he might not be that just pure floor spacer, the vertical floor spacer is an absolute thing. And then here's the last box it checked. Everybody in Detroit, we love Isaiah Stewart. We do. Like, we love how hard he plays. But here's the truth about him. He's a guy who's 6'8", that can't jump that high. And even though he rebounds well, he switches well on defense. Like, he's destined to be one of two things. Either a very, very high quality backup center on a good team, or possibly even a power forward if he can develop that 3-point shot.
Mm-hmm.
That allows him, hopefully, in the next couple of years to come off that starting role and to be the bench five that he probably should be. And he can play it very well. And I think the floor is still high with him, or the ceiling, I mean, but this kind of gives us that bigger center that we need. Because as much as I love Isaiah Stewart, it wasn't quite going to be it. You know, it wasn't quite going to be it against the Embiids of the world and all that kind of stuff. This guy has the potential to be it.
It really checks so many boxes, and it just puts us in motion still with our. It's no longer, you and I were just trying to decide, like, yeah, we're rebuilding, but now it's not a rebuild. It's we've got what we need, and now we develop,
we have the
and
base,
watch and see, and because and a part of a rebuild is you got to get the players at some point, and we just did, and it's like we've got them, so it's just exciting because you keep like not bringing me down, but bringing me back to earth. What's like, hey, it's still up, 2-3 years.
We're so young.
Yeah, we like there's a lot of time left, right? But that's okay because there's a path to it. Before it was like, we're adding this guy. Hey, it's like, no, you gotta have a path to looking and playing right and being a good team.
I want to just talk about that for a second, because it can't be all yay. Like, let's throw up those stats and look at let's see what we're going to be looking at when we're talking about a guy like Jalen Duren. So he's a high field goal percentage. That's what happens when you have a lot of dunks, right? Low free throw percentage, high. He's a good rebounder, good shot blocker. There's no doubt about that. But he's 18. And there's a lot of holes in his game, turnovers, personal fouls, like dumb mistakes that he will absolutely make for the next year or two that are just going to leave you being like, what is going on? But so my hope is that with Isaiah Stewart there, you can bring him along slowly. Like, you can, and you're putting him in a room with the guy who's the hardest working guy on the Pistons, with Isaiah Stewart. Well, Sadiq Bey might be as well, but you're putting him in that room. He's getting to learn from that. Like, we now have the most jacked front court in the league, that's for sure. But like it's going to take some time. And when we talk about this team, everybody's like, are we going to compete now? Well, Cade's 20. I mean, like, these are all, I think these ages are close. Killian's 21. Is Ivy 19 or 20? Right.
Yep.
You have Duren, who's 18. Sadiq Bey is your oldest guy right now in the starting lineup, and he's like 23 years old. So, like, we're just super young. Like, let's just pump the brakes, but it's going to be so much fun to watch because they're going to flash potential.
Yeah,
they're going to flash.
And that's exactly what we want, is something that we can actually watch and see the potential, see the development, and see the path to a good team that can, because you said it, you just don't want to be in that play-in game at 8-9 seed. And no, it's like, we're gonna, and even if we are in a couple of years, it's like, but we're in a trajectory where we can actually get to the playoffs and make things happen.
No, same like I mean, 3 years ago, Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
Like they're young. They get Chris Paul. They were in the play-in, or they were in the, we all remember what they did in the bubble. And it's like, oh, they're kind of a cute team. And then they get Chris Paul, and it's like, oh, dang. And then the next year they're in the NBA finals. You look at the Memphis Grizzlies, and it's like, oh, they were a cute team. They were in the playing game, and Ja's really good, and he's going to be a great player in this league. Then boom, 2 seed. Like, I think like that's the trajectory. I think we're 2 years away from like, oh, like this team's competing a little bit, and then 3 years from like, oh dang, like this
Yep.
this can be trouble, and it could be 1 and 2 depending on what we do with all that cap space.
Oh my gosh, right, and
Yeah,
that's where you just wonder, and you really trust Troy to be like, because that is the next step in this is like, is it now that we go, or it's like, well, one more year, then we got, oh man,
yep.
he is absolutely playing
That is
some.
another video, my friend.
Oh, and exactly. That's what I'm just thinking. Love it, man.
So this is good. I give the Pistons an A+ on this draft night. I don't think you could have done it better. I think Troy Weaver proved that the Jerami Grant trade was a good trade now. And so we get to see all that stuff going. That's good for me. I think we're out of here. And it was awesome. Fun night. Go Pistons. Be ready. Keep looking for Pistons content. Hit that subscribe button below if you haven't already. See ya.